if these computers begun to recognize. In this video we will talk about the enterprise. With this man you will learn the streets and their enterprise. Their knowledge about this topic will make you all buy. Enterprise deployment software and the benefits, concept for building and deployment process, summary of pipeline process, also the Windows Server. Enterprise deployment software, code-base of Maven and Jenkins. All of these topics we will discuss. We will show some demonstrations of enterprise deployment software.
Hello everyone, my name is Justin Philip Langara and I'm in Group 2 with Kent Brian Asilo, Christian Kent Bilbao, Ian Brian Calio, Earl Dave Elaco, and Paler Ken Harold. And we're going to discuss about enterprise development software. Now, the objective of this topic is to define what is enterprise development software and what is its benefits. We'll also tackle about continuous integration with Jenkins, the concept of build and deployment process, the pipeline process, the Windows Server, the hardware specifications for Windows Server, and demo in using Windows Server. Now, what is enterprise deployment software? So, it is the process of deploying software through a tool that is called enterprise software deployment. It begins after a software is delivered to the enterprise and ends with the installation or delivery to the target computer. It is also used to deliver updates and necessary patches from time to time. Let us now discuss the benefits of enterprise development software. First, it saves time. Applications can be deployed to multiple computers without any manual intervention. This saves time and errors. Next, hassle-free updates. Necessary updates can also be set to be released to specific or all workstations automatically. No need to download them manually. Next, proper monitoring. Using deployment tools, activity of users revolving around the software can be monitored effectively. Remedial action can be initiated quickly when something suspicious comes up in the monitoring reports. And it increases safety. Since the deployments are managed from one source, the whole process is extremely safe and secure. No one can interfere or disrupt the software or the process. And now, let us proceed with continuous integration with Jenkins. But first, what is continuous integration? Continuous integration is a software development process where a code is continuously tested after a commit to ensure there are no bugs. While Jenkins is an open-source continuous integration server written in Java for orchestrating a chain of actions to achieve the continuous integration process in an automated fashion. And Jenkins supports the complete development life cycle of software from building, testing, documenting the software, deploying, and other stages of software development life cycle. And Ken Harold Paler will continue the report.
Thank you, Mr. Llanera, for that informative introduction of our topic. Now let's move on with the concept of build and deployment process. Building process. The build process looks through the configuration files in your repository and assembles the necessary containers. The outcome of the build process is designed to be repeatable and reusable. Each app in a project is built separately. The build is independent of the given environment, and development environments are perfect copies of production. You can't connect to services like databases during the build step. Once the app has gone through all of the build steps, it can connect to services in the deploy process. Deployment process. The deploy process makes those containers live, replacing any previous versions with minimal interruption in service. The deploy process connects each container from the build process and any services. The connection are defined in your app and services configuration. So unlike the build process, you can now access other containers, but the file system is read-only. Moving on the concept of build and deployment process. It comes from the process of CI or CD, or continuous integration, continuous delivery, and or continuous deployment. So what is continuous integration or CI? It is a practice that involves developers making small changes and checks to their code. Due to the scale of requirements and the number of steps involved, this process is automated to ensure that teams can build, test, and package their applications in a reliable and repeatable way. CI helps streamline code changes, thereby increasing time for developers to make changes and contribute to improved software. So what is continuous delivery or CD? It is the automated delivery of completed codes to environments like testing and development. CD provides an automated and consistent way for code to be delivered to these environments. Next is continuous deployment, or CD again. It is the next step of continuous delivery. Every change that passes the automated test is automatically placed in production, resulting in many production deployments. In short, CI is a set of practices performed as developers are writing code, and CD is a set of practices performed after the code is completed. Here is the concept of build and deployment process presented through CI or CD. The sequence of the process is: first is planning, second is code, third is build, then testing, then release, then deploy, then operate, and then lastly monitor. This process integrates endlessly. So in summary, build means to compile the project, and deploy means to compile the project and publish the output. That's all. Moving on, the next reporter, Mr. Kent Brian Asil.
Thank you, Mr. Paler, for discussing the concept of build and deployment process. Next will be the pipeline process, which is commonly used or mostly used in enterprise build and deployment software. So before we will see the process concept, let us define first the pipeline. A pipeline is a process that drives software development through a path of building, testing, and deploying code. This is also known as continuous integration or continuous delivery. So this is how the process looks like. First, we will start in the base or the code. So in a company, there will be teams that will be assigned. For example, team 1 will be assigned for the ordering system, and team 2 will be on the payment system. So in team 1 or ordering system, there will be application developers, engineers, and so on that are present on that team. So they will build a feature regarding with ordering system. So they will build here in developer's environment, whereas jar file and war file will be created. Jar file are files that are related to backend. War files are files that are front-end files, the HTML, CSS, so on. So after they build the files of that feature, the ordering system feature, it will be forwarded into the quality assurance environment or the QA environment. So naka-build na sila. Diri i-test dayon ang back-end, the front-end, and manual testing. So if okay now without errors, the ordering system feature will be forwarded into stage environment testing. As I said earlier, daghan na teams, like for example, Team 1 for ordering system, Team 2 for payment system. So, diri sa stage environment testing, katong mga features nga gi-assign each team, isagol na to sila. And that will be tested, and the testing will be called regressor testing. So, meaning tanan features sa isa ka project, sagol na. And if there will be no errors, then this project will be forwarded into production or live environment. And in this environment, there will be a sanitary or smoke testing. Although some skip the sanitary or smoke testing since na-test naman diri sa stage environment testing. But anyway, we'll discuss it. So, sanitary or smoke testing, this is where the project core functionalities will be tested. If wala na by issues or errors diri sa sanitary and smoke testing. So this is the ending environment in the pipeline process. So that's it for the pipeline process. Next I'll be discussing to you how software deployment works. So we have two scenarios here. First one is the software repository with a local network share. So this is local network share, which is in a local office environment. Second one will be using the HTTP share, which will be used in remote office environment. So let us start first in the local office. First thing first, the clients will connect into a local network share. After connecting, creating package will be followed. So this is where we specify executable files where we will distribute to all local machines. Mag-create kag package diri sa desktop central server, which will be distributed onto clients. So after na-distribute na sa local machines sa clients, then the local network will download the executable files and start the installation. So, ang flow ani is this local network share, serve as a repository. Then, diri sa desktop central server, diri ma-create ang mga executable files and then forwarded onto the clients. So, let's proceed into the remote office environment. We will use the HTTP share, so online. First thing first, ang clients mag-connect sa HTTP. And then, the HTTP that will act as a local network and the package will be distributed to the clients. So, ma-distribute din siya sa distribution server and then ang mga executable files downloadable na din siya sa mga clients. Although, na siya distribution server, but the status of the package will be posted here in the desktop central server. So, regardless local office ba ang environment or remote office environment, the status will be posted in the desktop central server. So, present kini siya both local or remote office.
Good day everyone, today I'll be discussing the background history of Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2012 R2. Windows Server 2012 released on September 4, 2012. The company marketed Windows Server 2012 as Cloud OS. This probably was the ultimate goal of the inclusion of Hyper-V in the Windows Server 2008 version. This version focused on getting the integrated Hyper-V into shape to make cloud resources as easy to integrate into on-site delivery as local host. So Windows Server has a 4 editions. So we have here the Foundation Editions, Essential Edition, Standard Edition, and Data Center Edition. First was the Foundation Edition. is targeted towards small businesses of up to 15 users, come pre-installed on a hardware server with single physical processor and up to 32 gigabytes of DRAM or dynamic random access memory. This should be implemented in environments where features such as file sharing, render sharing security, and remote access are required. Advanced server features such as Hyper-V, RODC or read-only domain controller, data duplication, dynamic memory, IPAM or IP address management, server core, server certificate service rule, hot add memory, Windows Update Services, and failover clustering are not available in the Foundation Edition. Second is the Essential Edition. Is the next step up, also geared towards small businesses of up to 25 users. Is available in retail stores around the world, making it easy for businesses to install the new operating system without necessarily purchasing new hardware. So this is also similar to Foundation Edition. The Essential Edition does not support many advanced server features. However, it does provide support of features like Hyper-V, dynamic memory, and hot add or remove RAM. This also can run a single instance of virtual machine on Hyper-V, a feature that was not available in Windows Server 2012 Essentials or None or 2 Edition. This single virtual machine instance can be Windows Server 2012 R2 Essential Edition, only seriously limiting the virtualization option but allowing companies to begin exploring the benefits of the virtualization platform. Third is Standard Edition. Windows Server is used for medium to large business that require additional features not present in the Foundation and Essential Edition. Is able to support a limited amount of users as long as the required user licenses have been purchased. Advanced features such as certificate service rules, Hyper-V, RODC or read-only domain controller, IPAM, IP or IP address management, data duplication, service core, failover, clustering, and more are available to Windows Server 2012 Standard Edition. We should note that the Standard Edition supports up to 2 virtual machines. So next is the Data Center Edition. It's a flagship product created to meet the needs of medium-large enterprise. The major difference between the Standards and Data Center Edition allows the creation of unlimited virtual machines, and it's therefore suitable for environments with extensive use of virtualization technologies. Let's proceed to Windows Server 2012 R2. Windows Server 2012 R2 released on October 18, 2013. The composition of the operating system saw the use of PowerShell extended with further. Because Microsoft continued its aim to provide better server function on site that provided the capability to integrate cloud services. This involved rewriting security system and network services. Virtualization and storage systems were also overhauled and web services were enhanced. The storage features that were enhanced in this upgrade including replication for distributed files and improved access for file sharing. Microsoft introduced the PowerShell-based desired state configuration system to enhance network configuration management. What is desired state configuration? So, desired state configuration is a declarative platform used for configuration, deployment, and management of system. Next, we will talk about the timeline of Windows Server 2012. So we have two Windows Server here. First is the Windows Server 2012 and this Visuals Windows Server 2012 R2. Windows Server 2012 is the sixth version of the Windows Server operating system by Microsoft as part of the Windows NT family of operating system. It is a server version of Windows based on Windows 8 and succeeds Windows Server 2008 R2, which is derived from the Windows 7 called based. The software was officially launched on September 4th when it was Microsoft ended mainstream support for Windows Server 2012 on October 9, 2018, and extended support will end on October 10, 2023. So we have 4 edition of Windows Server 2012 and Windows Server 2012 R2. We have Foundation Edition, Essential Edition, Standard Edition, Data Center Edition. Lastly is Windows Server 2012 R2. Codename Windows Server 8.1 is the 7th version of the Windows Server operating system by Microsoft. As part of the Windows NT family of operating system, it was unveiled on June 3, 2013 at TechEd North America and released on October 18 of the same year. It is the successor to the original Windows Server 2012 and it's the Windows 8.1 derived server operating system to receive official support from Microsoft. And that's all, thank you. Next reporter will be Mr. Ilaku.
Hardware specifications for Windows Server. Here are the Windows Server editions. Here, we have version 2012 R2 and the version 2022. The Windows version 2012 R2 have 4 editions: Foundations, Essentials, Standard, and the Data Center, while the current version, the 2022, only has 3, which are Essentials, Standard, and Data Center. The Foundation Edition. It is a scaled-down edition of Windows Server 2012, and thus the cheapest version of Windows Server 2012 to purchase. Since it is limited to 15 users, it is mainly aimed at small business file and print sharing. Unlike the other editions, the Foundation Edition defaults to a simple dashboard rather than a server manager to perform server configuration. The aim of the dashboard is to provide simple links to common administration tasks like adding users, set up a backup, and provide a quick status report of the server to name just a few of the functions. All you need to know is that Foundation Edition can only be installed on a physical server. It's not licensed to be installed in a virtual machine. On the right side, you can see some hardware specifications of the Foundation Edition, but later on, we will discuss about that. Now, let's proceed to the Essential Edition. The Essentials Edition is once again a scaled-down version of Windows Server 2012. Feature-wise, it is much the same as the Foundation, except it supports 25 users. Once you purchase the Essentials Edition, you can install one copy on a physical or virtual machine. From a user point of view, the main difference between the two is it defaults to Server Manager rather than the dashboard. Now, the Standard Edition. Honestly, we can group the Standard and the Data Center editions, but since I want to really explain to you the differences, we will gonna separate them. So the Standard Edition contains all Windows Server features, including the Data Center. It also has a license per use and contains 2 virtual instances. The difference between the Data Center is that it only has low density virtualization. Now, Data Center Edition. As I have said earlier, the Standard and the Data Center Edition have some similarities. The main difference between the two is how many virtual instances of the operating system you can run without additional licenses. For the Standard Edition, you can run 2 virtual instances, while in the Data Center differs from this in that it can run an unlimited number of virtual instances. Data Center is designed for larger computers with up to 64 processors, so it's not available via retail channels. In order to obtain the Data Center, you need to purchase a through an OEM or Microsoft licensing plan. It should be pointed out that Standard and Data Center are licensed by how many users connect to it. So here are some definitions that is related to availability. Some of this have mentioned earlier in the video, just like the OEM or the original equipment manufacturer. This makes systems or components that are used in other companies and products. It also contains open value, which is buy from the Microsoft or the authorized sellers, the CAL or the Client Access License, and also a DAL, a Device Access License. It is a license that gives a user or device the right to access services. Next is the RRAS or the Routing Remote Access Service. This is used to provide site-to-site connectivity by using a VPN or dial-up connections. Then, last is the IaaS or the Internet Authentication Service. This is the Microsoft implementation of a Radius server and proxy. Now here are the availability and differences. When it comes to distribution, Foundation only distributes OEM. And the essentials are retail, volume licensing, and also includes OEM. Same as the standard. But the data center supports volume licensing and OEM. All of those four supports OEM. When it comes to listening model, the foundation essentials are per server, while the standard in the data center are per CPU pair and CAL/DAL. The processor of the foundation only limits 1. The essentials limits 2. The standard and data center limits 64. The memory limit of the foundation is 32 GB. The essentials 64 GB, while the standard and data center supports 4 TB if you have a motherboard that can support that size of memory. The user limit of the foundation is only 15, while the essential has 25, while the standard in the data center does not have any user limit. When it comes to file service limits, the foundation and essentials only has one standout, the DFS root, while the standard in data center does not have limitation. When it comes to network policy and access service limits, the foundation only has 50 RRAS connections and 10 IaaS connections, while the essentials is multiplied by 5, which has 250 RRAS connections and also contains 50 IaaS connections and also 2 AS server groups. The standard and data center editions is unlimited. And when it comes to remote desktop service limits, the foundation has 50 remote desktop services connections only, while the essentials are gateway only. The standard and data center is still unlimited. That's how powerful a standard and data center is. While when it comes to virtualization rights, only the essentials has either one VM or one physical server, but not both at once. The standard has 2 VMS, but the data center is limited. Foundation is none. All of them can support DHCP, DNS, POC server, printing, and IaaS services. But when it comes to Windows Server update services, only the foundation is not supported.
Thank you, Mr. Ilaco. And now, let us move on to demo in using Windows Server, creating organizational units, users, and groups. So as we can see here, there is a block 1 and a block 2. These are your organizational units. So what are organizational units? They are containers within a Microsoft Active Directory. They are typically used to differentiate between objects with the same name and to parcel out authority to create and manage objects. So basically, they are used to easily manage groups within groups, department in the company, and level of access in different company positions. So, let us start. So in your server manager, go to Tools, Active Directory, Users and Computers, and click on your server and click this button, Create New Organizational Units. We will name this organizational unit Block 1, and don't forget to check this box to protect the container from accidental deletion. Click your server again, create new organizational unit, and we will name this Block 2. And that is how we create new organizational units. Next, we shall continue by creating groups inside the new organizational units we just made. So in Block 1, click the container and click here, Create New Group. So the group name would be Administration. Another group, we shall name it Research. And in Block 2, we're going to add Technical. Also, don't forget to choose the group scope and group type depending on what you're going to need. So what I'm going to do here is leave it as is. Group scope as global and group type as security. And we're gonna add the last group, stores. So these are the group that we have created inside each of these organizational units. And in last but not the least, creating users. So here we're going to click in our server and find users. So what we're going to do is make a new administrator account. So click on the admin account and copy. So we're gonna fill up this last name, first name, initials, and also the account name. So in creating a password, we must use an uppercase letter, lowercase letters, a special symbol, and numbers. Also below here, we can choose what to do with the password. It can be changed by the user at the first time of their logged in. It can be set so it cannot be changed. Password can also be never expired, so it cannot be changed and cannot expire. And also we can disable the account here. So we click finish, and as we can see, the account is now enabled. So let us try out the account that we just made. So first we sign out of this admin account, and next we sign in, click other users, and type the parameters that we have set earlier. So as you can see, we have successfully signed in to another administrator account. So we have been through the boring parts of using the Windows server, and now we get to the fun part, deploying apps. So let's go to our virtual machine, shall we? So as you can see here, here's an XML notepad. It's an MSI file, meaning a Windows installer file. So what we're going to do is, we're going to create a special folder for it here. We will name the folder software, and we will move the file here. And now we'll go to our server manager, then we go to tools, active directory, users and computers, then tools again, and click group policy management. So as you can see here, I've added a third organizational unit and another organizational unit inside it, and a PC in here. So you can learn more about adding a PC into your server in the video link here. So let us start. Click on your group policy management, then group policy objects. So we're going to add a new GPO here. So click new, group policy object, and we shall name it software. Now in our GPO software, click on it and click edit. So in edit, click computer configuration, policies, software settings, software installation. So click on the software installation on the left here, click properties, and it will ask for a default package location. So remember the folder that we've created earlier with the Windows installer file inside it. So we're going to open Properties, then Sharing. So first we're going to share this using Advanced Sharing and click Share this folder. And now that the folder is shared through the network, we shall see and copy this network path. So we copy it and paste it here and set it as our default package location. Apply, and now we can close all these windows. So in our software installation, we click New, Package, and select the XML file. Sometimes this might take a minute. And now our GPO is ready. Now we're going to need to link our GPO named software to our OU named student. So to do that, we're going to our block tree, click student, and click link an existing GPO and select software. And now it is done. Just that easy. And now we can minimize this and open our user computer. So here on our client PC, we can see that the XML wasn't installed. And why would that be? That would be because the GP update wouldn't be instant. It would take a while, such as 30 minutes or 90 minutes. And so, to fast forward the process, we're gonna do this. So, go to CMD and we're going to type GP update /force. So what it's going to do is force the GPO update into our PC to install that file instantly. So we wait for a minute or two and just click Y to restart. So after restarting, we're going to log on using the account that we have made earlier. And now, here it is, XML Notepad 2007. And remember, when installing different apps into your user or client PCs, make sure that it is compatible with their operating systems, such as like this. XML Notepad 2007 would only work on Windows 7, and if I used a newer version of XML Notepad, it wouldn't be installed. So that is all, everyone. Thank you for listening to our report, and have a great day or night.